Hi guys, how's everybody doing today? Okay, first things first, make sure you guys put your name up here. Some people are turning in stuff with no names, so make sure you put your name, the date, and your period. Okay, so we're moving into 13.3, and what we're talking about today is solving area equations. So make sure when you're doing math, you should always circle your answers. All right, that's one thing we need to work on. Just make sure you circle your answers. So the essential question for today is, how do you use equations to solve problems about area of rectangles, parallelograms, trapezoids, and triangles? Okay, so we're going to look at 1, 2, 3, 4 problems. Okay, so let's just go ahead and jump in here. Number 1, Renee is sewing a quilt whose pattern contains right triangles. Okay, so if you look at this, this is a quilt. If you guys don't know what a quilt is, it's like a big blanket that you sew different pieces together to make the whole blanket. All right, so if you, I'm going to turn this music down here. Okay. If you, let's start over here. Renee is sewing a quilt whose pattern contains right triangles. Each quilt piece has a height of 6 inches and an area of 24 inches squared. How long is the base of each quilt piece? All right, so when you're solving this type of problem, first of all, you need to think about what shape you're dealing with. Okay, so it says right here we're dealing with right triangles, right? Okay, so right away you should think about what is the formula for the area of a triangle, because we're talking about area, and they want to know how long is the base. Okay, so if you label the parts of the triangle, this would be our base. Okay. What else do they say here? Each quilt piece has a height of 6 inches. So this is going to be my height, and this is going to be 6 inches. Okay. So go ahead. If they don't have a shape for you to write on, go ahead and draw a triangle yourself. And then, you know, a right triangle has to have a 90-degree angle. Okay, so the base is perpendicular to the height. And they're asking how long is the base. So this is what you want to figure out. Okay, you can put a question mark there. This is what you're trying to solve. All right, so first things first, you want to write the formula that you would use to find the area of a triangle. That's what we're dealing with, that formula. So remember, for area of a triangle, the area is equal to 1/2 base times height, or BH. Okay? Now, what you want to do now is you want to use the information that they've given you to go ahead and fill in to the equation what you know. All right? So use the formula to write an equation. It's an equation because we have an equal sign. So first things first, let's see here. We already labeled 6 inches on our drawing. It's on our triangle. It has an area of 24 inches squared. Okay? So that's our area of 24 inches squared. We can fill that in for the A. All right, so 24 is equal to, I'm just going to write the 1/2 because that's in the formula. And I don't know what the base is, so I just put B. And my height is 6. Okay? So that's the first thing. Second thing. First thing, write out the formula. Second thing, fill in what you know. Okay? Now all you have to do is solve for B. You have to figure out what is B. Okay? So let's see how we do this here. First things first, 24, I can't do anything with that. That's just going to stay 24 for right now. Now, if you look at this other side, what can I do here with the 1/2 and the 6? Well, when you see 1/2 multiplied times something, what you're really doing is dividing by what? You're really dividing it by 2, because if you divide something by 2, that's half of it. So I'm going to take 1/2 of 6. 1/2 of 6 is 3. And then I'm just going to write my b down, because I can't do anything with the b. I can't take half of b because I don't know what b is. Alright, so now this goes back to what we've talked about earlier this year. I need to solve for b. I need to get b by itself on one side of the equation and all the numbers on the other side. So remember, the way that you do that is you have to get rid of the 3. You're going to do the opposite of what's going on here. What's going on here between the 3 and the b? Multiplication. So instead of doing multiplication, I need to do division. So I'm going to divide by 3 and divide this side by 3. Alright, so now what happens to my 3's here? They cancel out, right? And what happens to this? 24, this is 24 divided by 3. What's 24 divided by 3? 8. So kind of ran out of space here, but I would put 8 there from this equals, and all I have left is b. So my answer is b is equal to, well, I can rewrite it here. I'll just rewrite it. B is equal to 8, and since I'm dealing with inches, this is inches. Okay? Okay, so that's the first problem. Next problem.
Next problem is dealing with this shape. What is this shape, guys? This shape is starts with a T, trapezoid. Okay, so you have to get familiar with these shapes and what they look like so you can recognize which formula that you need to use. Because on the FSA, they're just going to have the formulas, but they're not going to have the shapes next to them. So you need to know that this is a trapezoid. Then you need to be able to look at the reference sheet and be able to see which formula that you need to use. So let's look at this problem. The cross section of a water bin is shaped like a trapezoid. Okay, so they're talking about this little part right here. The cross section of a water bin is shaped like a trapezoid. The bases of the trapezoid are 18 feet and 8 feet long. All right, so as you're going through the question, you can start filling in, labeling parts of the trapezoid that you know. Okay, if they don't have a trapezoid for you, you're going to have to draw one. But most likely they'll have a shape in the question, I would think, so that you can look at it and label it. Especially for you guys, since our FSA is on paper based, so hopefully they have the trapezoid for you to label. But if one base is 18 feet, the other is 8 feet. So the short side of the base is 8 feet, and the other one is 18 feet. Okay? It's telling you it has an area of 52 square feet. So off to the side here, and we could have done that for the triangle one as well, or you could underline it in the question, okay? 52 square feet area. So over here, if I want, I could put A is equal to 52 feet squared. That's how you write area for that. Okay, so what they want to know is what is the height of the cross section. So remember, when you're talking about a cross section, the height of a trapezoid, which part are you talking about? Well, remember, you're talking about if you go from one of the corners and you draw a dotted line up to the top, or up to the, it doesn't really matter which way the trapezoid is, if this part is on top or if this part is on top, it doesn't really matter. This is still your height. You could flip this over so 18 would be on the bottom and this would still be your height. Okay, so what is the height of the cross section? So now it's the same type of problem as above. The only thing that changed is you're using a different, well, you have a different shape and you're using a different formula, but you're still trying to find what is the height, even though up here we were given the height, but you're trying to find a missing part.
Okay, so the height is what we don't know. Right? We don't know what the height is. All right, so same thing as above. First thing you want to do is write the formula, but this is a trapezoid, so we're going to use the trapezoid formula. So area is equal to, and what's the formula for trapezoid? 1/2 the height times base 1 plus base 2. All right, so now that you've written the formula, you're going to use the information they give you and you're going to fill it into the formula. All right, so what do we know here? We know what the area is, so I can go put 52 in for the area. So I got 52 equals the 1/2 I just write down, because I'm not going to do anything with that. What is the height? The height is what I don't know, so I put h, and now I put my parentheses. Okay, you basically copy it down exactly as it is, but you fill in parts that you know. Okay, do I know base 1 and base 2? Yes. 8 and 18. It doesn't really matter which one you call base 1 and base 2. Usually the trapezoid is flipped over the other way, but in this case it's kind of like upside down. So usually they say the top is base 1 and the bottom is base 2. But really it does not matter, because for this formula you're adding the two together. Okay, it doesn't really matter which one you call base 1 and base 2. So let's say base 1 is 8, base 2 is 18. Okay, so let's put a B1 here and a B2. Okay, all right. So now all we have to do is solve for h. So the 52, I don't do anything with it. The 1/2, I can't do anything with it really yet. I'm going to put my 1/2 h, and then I'm going to do the inside of the parentheses. I'm going to solve what the inside of the parentheses is. Okay, it's like order of operations. You need to do what's inside the parentheses first. So 8 plus 18 is what? 26. All right. Now I can go another step. 52 is equal to, what is 1/2 of 26? Well, if you do the math, 1/2 of 26 is going to be 13. And then I write the h next to it. Okay? So just like up above we had to solve for b, we have to solve for h. So this is multiplication as well. So I need to do the opposite. So I need to do what, guys? I have to divide both sides by 13. Kind of ran out of space there, but this is dividing both sides by 13. All right? So on this side, what happens to the 13s? They cancel. And what happens over here, you have to do 52 divided by 13. And if you'd have to work it out, kind of guesstimate. So I know 13 times 4 is going to give me a 2 on the end. So let's try that. And that's 4, and that's 5. So 52 divided by 13 is 4. So my answer, h equals 4, and how much? Okay.
I video kind of paused there. I think that's when my light goes fine. Alright, so my answer is going to be h is equal to 4 feet. Okay?
Alright. Now, these back questions here, I'm going to let you guys try to solve these by yourself, okay? Now, it says right here this is a parallelogram. If you look over at the board on the side here, guys, I have these shapes for you. You can see what the formula is for parallelogram, okay? So you're going to write out the equation. You're going to fill in the information they give you. You can label the different parts of the parallelogram, okay? And then I want you guys to see if you can solve it. All right, same thing down here. This question is going to make you think a little bit, okay, because it's dealing with what is the total area first, and then it wants to know how much will it cost, right? So this question is going to make you think a little bit. Let's see how many people can come up with the correct answer. All right, and we're dealing with a rectangular wooden planks here. So you guys know what the formula is for area of
a rectangle. All right. So if you guys can finish this out, finish this and get the correct answer, you're doing great. Very, very smart. All right. Thanks for listening, guys. And go ahead, start working on 3 and 4. Once you have your answer, you could compare them to your friends around you. And then if you guys come up, you feel like you're all getting the same answer, then let me know and I'm going to come check, okay? All right. I'll see you guys later.